What's up, guys, and welcome to the show. That's right, get the popcorn popping, the soda's pouring, the coffee's made, and everything because it's Monday, which means it's the Lucha Libre News / Rant show. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, my camera kept dying, so I'm shooting this on my phone. So let's just dive right into things, shall we? So on November 24th, not in November, but the 24th anniversary of the Worlds Collide event is being celebrated on November 4th. On November 1994, AAA ended up getting together with the International Wrestling Council to hold an event that was known as When the Worlds Collide. This event was a huge historical event that held some of the biggest names in Lucha Libre history, including Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio Jr., Pegasus Kid, who's also known as Chris Benoit, Too Cold Scorpio, Psychosis, Tito Santana, La Park, and La Parca. That's currently being celebrated right now. That definitely goes down in history as being probably the biggest Lucha Libre event of all time. Definitely, considering today's standards and everything like that, for sure. Now, CMLL continues to celebrate the Day of the Dead by holding its second special function of the season. Now, the first one was insanely amazing. This one was actually really good as well. Some of the matches were really great. Some of the matches were not really good, so good. But so there's a mixture of a good and not so great, but whatever, you know what I mean. Some of the matches we seen was Mystic and Carcist and Blue Diamond. They defeated Lagos Warriors, which was actually a pretty decent matchup. We also seen Angel of Gold and Mystic Red Mist, and the Brave ended up defeating Rey Nigaro and Dark Magic by way of disqualification, which was a decent matchup, not bad. Flyer, who's one of he's stepping up to become one of my favorites. Not my all-time favorite, of course, but he's definitely getting up there for sure. He ended up defeating Red Dragon Jr. in a lightning matchup. This was actually one of the best matchups of the night. It definitely passed my expectations for sure. It was a really good matchup and definitely one of the best. Drone and Tarano and Black Panther ended up defeating Vargas, Tiger, and Disturbance. That was a pretty decent matchup as well. We also seen Yago, Son of the Sign, and Electric Beat Cameron, Akama, and Super Astro. Sorry, I'm really bad with names and stuff. Super Astro Jr. by way of disqualification. Now, I'm definitely not a fan of DQ matchups. I really don't like them. But this matchup was actually really good and pretty decent. Didn't blow me away, but was still pretty good. Now, Fantasy and Angelito defeated Murico and Piquino. Now, this definitely, those were the matches. Now, this was definitely a pretty good event. It wasn't the greatest event, but still was okay. Another event that we seen on Wednesday was the part 2 of Lucha Underground's Ultimate Lucha Cuatro. Now last Monday I talked about how bad part 1 was because it was pretty much the worst thing I've ever seen. Now part 2 was actually really good. It definitely blew me away. I thought it was definitely way better than I could have imagined. It was really good. I thought it was really amazing. Very predictable. Usually pretty much everything Lucha Underground does is very predictable, but the matches were still really good. Mil Mortez versus the Mac in a death match was actually a really insanely good matchup. One of the best matchups I've seen those two involved in a really long time. Of course, obviously the Mac ended up pulling out the win of that match. I think everybody could tell it. Did he deserve to win? Hell no. Mil Mortez definitely deserved to win that matchup. In my mind, just because I like Mil Mortez a lot better. But of course, we've seen Matanzo versus Johnny Mundo. Of course, Johnny and Mundo ended up winning that matchup, obviously. But it was still a really decent match. Wasn't great, wasn't bad. Pretty much Johnny Mundo just ran away from the guy the whole matchup. But still, it was a pretty decent matchup. Yeah, I thought it was, like I said, a pretty decent setup. I really liked everything. I thought it was really good. Now we ended up seeing uh, Eddie Guerrero's daughter debut on this event, which seems to have, for some reason, blown everybody away. But I don't really know why it blew everybody away. That's because Lucha Underground is partly owned by the Guerrero family. So obviously we're going to see more and more of the Guerrero family coming into Lucha Underground, especially in the next few years. Unfortunately, we ended up with Jake Strong, ended up becoming Lucha Underground champion, which is retarded, and I definitely don't agree with. I definitely don't want to see that, because I think, I know we're moving temples now. We're going hopefully back into the old temple. But I just don't really like to see a wrestler. I know Jake Strong did the whole, wrestler versus luchador, wrestling versus lucha libre thing. But I still don't really like to see that. I don't really like to see that guy as a champion. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's the video for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know very much. And I will check you in the next video.